Hey guys, if you find that current events have made it impossible to just sit back and enjoy a movie, please know that we feel the same way.
But if our show helps you escape for even a little while, then we'll know we did our jobs.
Stay strong and stay safe, everyone.
Movie series have become a very popular thing, especially cinematic universes. Marvel did it. They did a great job. DC tried it, not so much. But something that's been tried and true for as long as I can remember, is trilogies. For some reason, major studios seem to believe in the rule of three. And for some reason, that is a magic number when it comes to deciding on new franchises. So today we're going to be talking about some of our favorite trilogies. And let's just see where it takes us. Who wants to go first?
I just also like to mention that this is episode 3 and we're doing trilogy.
No coincidence? Wow, what a coincidence.
Oh, well,
No.
we really didn't plan it, I swear. We're just like, oh my gosh, things worked out like that.
Yeah, interesting. You just thought it was an interesting topic to talk about. Tapos yun, nagkataon, episode 3. Go for trilogies.
Trilogies. We're going to call it trilogies. Just kidding. Anyway, never mind.
That's not fair. I got to write this thing. Wait.
Anyway.
Okay,
will
for
we
that,
start?
who's going to go first?
Okay, I just want to get this out of the way because I kind of had a feeling, especially you two, you'd go all nerd on it and maybe talk about like the fantasies or the big comic book franchises or maybe like very popular sci-fi series. So I just wanted to start it off to get it out of the way. My personal favorite trilogy is the Before trilogy by Richard Linklater.
Oh, that's nice.
It's so girly, I know, but it's just so beautiful.
It's not girly.
No, not really. Not really girly, but it's very romance, that kind of thing. And I'm sure you guys enjoyed it too. If you guys couldn't see it, but Misha was reacting with his face and he was like, ooh. You can't hide that.
I haven't seen the first one. I haven't seen the first one.
What is wrong with you?
I have to see it. I just haven't had the opportunity to see it yet.
The audience can't hear us judging you right now.
Sorry. I will. It's on my watch list. It's on my personal watch list. It should
be. And it's weird how you started with sunset and midnight when you haven't seen sunrise.
Yeah, that's kind of weird if you haven't seen how it all started.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you can go for a marathon.
Yes, do that.
Yes. So anyway,
it's a whole
stop
lot of
talking about my backlog and let's start talking about why MJ likes this trilogy.
Okay, so for
good save.
Yep. So it started off with Before Sunrise and followed up by Before Sunset and Before Midnight. And it's just this beautiful love story of how these two people meet and just hit it off. And it's not like a lot of romantic comedies or dramas where there are so many things happening, like many conflicts will get in the way or many people will get in the way. I love how they just focus on the two and how things just go on from there. Because if you look at the trilogy as a whole, big picture wise, it's like really one long journey of a relationship. So in Before Sunrise, you have the meet cute, and who wouldn't want to meet a very beautiful stranger while you're traveling on a train and you spend the entire day just talking to them and connecting. And it's just so magical. And you can just feel the sexual tension, especially that scene where they were just in the small space listening to a record. Sorry, Anjo, I'm not sorry about spoiling it for you because you haven't seen the first one.
No, I was going to say that I love that. I absolutely do. And I'd hate to be the poor asshole listening to this who's never seen it.
Anjo. So, yes, it's just mainly, it's one of those movies where they just walk and talk literally. So it's so dependent. Well. Yes, they do it so well. The script is so good. And you could just see how the chemistry of Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy just works. It's just fireworks on screen and how they just bounce off of each other. And I'm gushing talking about this. So it's just like so centered on just the two. And it, like I said earlier, right? Like in romantic dramas or comedies, so many things happen. But this just really relies on the conversation. And this is what a lot of those rom-coms or dramas miss out on. It's just like so much connection just happens in those small random conversations. And it just captures the magic of it. And I love how Before Sunrise, like I said, was the meet cute. Before Sunset is where they further solidify the relationship. It's like, oh, I see you again after how many years, and the connection is still there and it's still amazing. And they still have those little nuances that you probably, if you love looking at GIFs on the internet or maybe Tumblr, you would see those little moments where they're just like trying to not, just keeping their hands to themselves because they just like, alam mo yon, yung tension talaga nandun eh. It's like, oh, I'm gonna try to fix your hair. No? Okay, I'm just gonna, yung mga ganun lang na nuances, sobrang kuhang-kuha. It's like really, it's like a microscope onto the relationship. And it's amazing. And tragically, Before Midnight is where all the problems come out. So when you're in a relationship for a long, long time, it's where the ugliness shows. You argue, you get insecure, you get jealous and everything. But that's really how a relationship goes. It starts off really great and you get into the relationship. But at the end, it's just kind of, they didn't break up naman, but you could just really see how the relationship has grown old. And so did they. And it's just so beautiful. And I have this conversation with a lot of people where it really depends where you are, what point in your life you're at. And it'll also depend which one of the three it will resonate with you the most. Because I feel like a lot of my friends who are single or still idealistic about finding love really love Before Sunrise, or the ones who are in happy relationships or are still hoping. Mga hopeful yung first two eh. But then me personally, I felt Before Midnight the most because when I watched it, I was going through the same thing at the time.
I watched that.
That was very personal.
I watched that when I broke up with my ex.
What the hell, man? What is wrong with you two?
See? Di ba? Ang sakit.
Kaya hindi ko mapanood yung una.
Okay.
So,
and then what? Then you followed up with the last 5 years?
Yeah.
Oh my, what? Oh God. But
so yeah, parang, it still is in my backlog, but I'll let you finish. Yun lang, I just wanted to say that. That's why.
Yeah. So it really just resonates with many different people depending on where they're at their life. But so I kind of want to rewatch it again, like go through all the three to see which one I kind of relate to the most at this point in my life. Because when I watched Before Midnight, that was towards the end of a also very long relationship. And it was all so familiar and it was, oh God, it was... But then, yes, beautifully written, beautifully shot, perfectly casted. And it's just, I can't pick a best one out of the three. Because like I said, it just really depends on where you're at.
I love that they're real,
Yeah.
That they're actual people. And what you said, absolutely. You're watching them as they go through different stages of their lives. You're seeing them grow. You're seeing them grow together. You're seeing them grow apart. You're seeing them find the middle ground after disagreements. And the way that each film was done, I mean, I think somebody can correct me on this, but I don't remember. Was it designed to have sequels? Because I like how the first one...
I don't think so.
Diba? I don't think so. Because the first one, they didn't tie it off with a bow, whether or not these two were going to have their happy ending,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about the first one. Sorry, Anjo. Not sorry, but...
It's okay. I'll let you have the floor. Go to town.
Yeah. But you just love how it's so open-ended. And eventually, when the sequel came, it's like, oh my God, what's going to happen after they see each other after a long time? Oh my God.
And then in the next one, you're like, oh, okay.
Oh, shit.
I see what happened here. I see what happened here.
Pulls a tissue.
Oh no. It's still happening.
Yeah,
so for people who haven't seen it, they should probably know that each movie is set like years apart from the previous one. Like the second one, the only thing that I knew from watching it was that it was set 10 years pa? A decade after they met. Am I correct?
I don't remember the timeline, but
Yeah.
it was a long time.
Yeah. And then Before Midnight, I think Before Midnight, as you mentioned, was set 5 years prior, after the second one.
5 years lang ba? It felt like much longer because, well, I don't know. They grew much
All
older.
right, I'm gonna do due diligence for once. I'm gonna Google.
Wikipedia.
Hold on.
Thank you.
Each movie is set 9 years apart from each other pala.
Oh, wow.
I just finished typing. Okay, fine, whatever.
Anjo's really fast fingers.
Well. You would think I'd have something to say to that.
But yeah, that's all I can say about this trilogy. It's beautiful. And I would recommend it to hopeless romantics out there, most definitely. Or like even realists, because the realists would probably like Before Midnight the most.
I think kasi coming from somebody who's only seen the two and they appreciated both movies talaga because they're both really good. I would back up Misha on his claim on MJ on her claim on how the little nuances, they're so subtle, but then
you can back me up too. As somebody,
sorry Misha, no matter how subtle it is, it's completely relatable. Especially when I saw Before Midnight. Kasi magkasunod yan, siyempre, kakabreak ko lang. So medyo masakit nung pinanood ko.
Were you crying in the cinema?
No, I watched it via DVD.
I see.
DVD.
Dude, I watched Before Midnight in the cinemas alone and oh my God. And I was the only person in the row. It was so sad. But anyway,
it's the conversations and how they bring out the characters. Talagang fleshed out. It was so well thought of. In addition to the great chemistry that they had, ang galing talaga ng exchanges nila.
Yeah.
Some of it was so subtle, pero ang laking bagay.
Laki ng impact, no? Kahit even just like yung mga nakaw na tingin lang, sobrang kikiligin ka. Parang, ano ba?
Parang, ala.
I think what I was saying earlier is...
Parang, just kiss already. Parang ganon yung feeling.
I like the fact that because they weren't planned to be sequels, I guess, because they didn't plan on having any follow-ups, that it was okay. In fact, even worked in their favor that they aged into their characters in their later lives. It helps when you see them when they're young and idealistic, and then looking for something more long-term, and then you see them when they've been together a while, and you can see it in their faces, and their chemistry is incredible. I don't know if you saw. Did you see they had a quarantine episode? They did. It's like 3 minutes. Watch it.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah, I should have seen that before talking about it.
They did a quarantine thing. Yeah, it's cute.
Galing I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah.
Okay. So there goes my favorite trilogy. Another favorite of mine will probably be mentioned by one of the two gentlemen here. So
we have
which
gentlemen?
I agree with.
Where
are you hiding these gentlemen?
Okay, so that's my favorite.
Okay, that's cool.
I can go next, I guess.
Yeah, go for it.
Honestly, I'm so torn with what my favorite episode is. Trilogy is.
It's okay if you're torn. This is how you feel.
I'm torn between Lord of the Rings and
then you're ashamed. Sorry.
My God. Anyway, before these guys start breaking out into song talaga. So yeah, I'm torn between.
Never changed into something real. Sorry. Okay, go.
Okay, guys, we're changing the episode into a Natalie Imbruglia. Okay. So anyway, I'm torn between the Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Nolan Batman trilogy.
Ooh.
Okay.
So both were, I don't know, Lord of the Rings because of its sheer epicness. I mean, like, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
17 years after the Two Towers ended, that battle for Helm's Deep is still probably the most epic war I've seen ever in any movie. Like, I haven't seen anything that beat it. I don't know. Like, it's just like there's so much tension, so much build up, and how the world was built based on the book is probably one of the best film adaptations for such an expansive book series. I mean, there's such a diverse list of characters, and for you to be able to pick out or relate to every single one of them, I think Peter Jackson did such a good job of highlighting everyone, as opposed to in the books, you're focused on a few lang, like probably Frodo, Gandalf, and Aragorn. In the movie, you had Legolas, who was a support character lang talaga in the book, or like Gimli, na talagang flesh out ni the names of the actors, Orlando Bloom and what's the name of that other guy who played
John Rhys Davis.
John Rhys Davis, who fleshed out the characters so well. And to think even Boromir, you could relate to Boromir, who died.
Sean Bean,
who sadly doesn't really make it out of any other movie alive most of the time.
I don't think that's a spoiler. I mean, he's Sean Bean.
So
One does not simply mention Sean Bean.
I don't know. Like, it's how Peter Jackson did it was so good, and parang for its time, like back in 2002, was it 2002 when they first introduced it?
2001,
early 2000s, yeah.
Or 2001 for the Fellowship of the Ring, and 2002 for the Two Towers.
Yeah,
I mean, like he really did put some groundbreaking technology into play, like how he would use special or visual effects just to multiply that army of Uruk-hai marching towards Helm's Deep, and how you could feel all the hopelessness in that battle. That was just amazing work.
I think because like they spent years trying to adapt the book, and they wanted to do it properly. They wanted to do justice to it, and they wanted to bring to life these things that people had only been reading for like the last 60, 70 years at that point. Mm-hmm. And some of the things that they came up with are just mind-boggling. Like the encounter with the Balrog is maybe a page or half a page at best in the book, right? But it's like pretty much the finale of the Fellowship of the Ring. So just the way they imagined to bring it into real life, however fantastical. I mean, I have a confession. I didn't want to watch it. I didn't want to watch it.
What?
I had to be dragged kicking and screaming. I think my exact words with my cousins were, I don't want to watch some Dungeons and Dragons bullshit. Yeah, that's literally what I said.
And how do your words taste? Real good? You had to eat it?
So I went in the cinema. My world was changed. I went out. I got the books. I finished them in like a week. All four of them, including The Hobbit. So,
oh, damn.
Yeah.
It took me years to finish the Fellowship book.
I finished the books after watching the first movie, but I've read The Hobbit before.
I love The Hobbit.
At that point,
book. I love the book.
Time when the book was good. The book was good.
Book was good. I love The Hobbit book.
Anyway, at that point in time when that movie came out, I had just finished The Hobbit. So perfect timing if The Hobbit was the prequel. So great. So after finishing the Fellowship, I read the trilogy. We all know that Tolkien loves describing things. A description of a door would be a description of a door would be like
a paragraph or two, maybe,
or a page.
I will
more time.
I will
spend
see
more time describing things.
I will see your door. And I will raise you, because I was telling MJ after she finished the Fellowship of the Ring, she's like, okay, should I do the Two Towers? I told her, yeah, if you don't mind 260 pages of how to walk through a forest. Because it really, it really is. But here's the thing. I was never bored because he wrote it very well. It's just if you're waiting for something to happen, you're out of luck. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. You gotta really enjoy how it's written if you're reading
hearing how we're describing the books compared to the movie. Can you imagine how Peter Jackson streamlined everything? Because not a lot of people who've watched the movie have actually read the books.
That's
if
true.
If you read the books, there's so much things going on that you might actually lose track of the story.
That's true.
So to be able to streamline everything that's happening into 3 different movies, it was just pretty amazing. Like even like the songs, I skipped a lot of the songs in the book. Tinanggal din nila.
You skipped some Bombadil?
Just stuck with it. Yeah, I did.
Oh my God. Bombadil.
So there, that's pretty much why I like the Lord of the Rings trilogy is one of my favorite trilogies. So I'm going to move on to Batman, which is going to be easier probably for me to...
No, it's not.
To explain.
Okay,
Maybe.
fine. Sige, I want to hear this. I want to hear this.
Kasi after the disappointing Batman movies, the two disappointing Batman movies prior to Nolan's trilogy, parang nobody ever thought that, anybody needed a Batman movie ever again until Warner Brothers announced the Batman trilogy.
You didn't like George Clooney's bat nipples?
I don't know. No, not really. So, not really.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just asking.
Kasi parang at that point in time, parang, Batman, cool. Again, people have made so many movies and a TV show about Batman. His story has been told so many times. What other story can be told? You know who all his villains are already. Kilala mo na arch nemesis niya.
Yep.
You know. But what Nolan was able to do was kind of revitalize an origin story, which a lot of the writers in the comic books actually take cues from.
Right.
Can you imagine the impact as somebody who's not even somebody who hasn't even created his own character, but for a lot of the comic book or canon writers to pick up cues from you? That's pretty good. Kasi parang he brought so much characters into so many more, he brought so much depth into building the life of Bruce Wayne and Batman. It wasn't really explored well in previous movies. What the relationship of to who Bruce Wayne was in relation to Batman. Except Keaton's movies. I'm just saying about Kilmer and Clooney.
Nipple guy, right?
Nipple dude. Because Clooney refuses to acknowledge his credit.
It's okay. Pattinson refuses to do push-ups, so I think they're even.
Oh God!
And then I think then kasi after he did the three movies, inevitably it revitalized the superhero genre, or it kind of introduced the superhero genre. Kasi after that, dun na nagka-boom eh.
That's
the whole
true.
Shared universe and everything.
Sunod na.
I think the whole superhero boom thing, I think we can do that for another episode. That could be fun.
Yeah. But we're not talking about that. So going back to Batman, it's probably the only trilogy na superhero movie na consistent na magaganda yung mga characterizations ng supervillains.
No, I like Batman Begins. I love The Dark Knight. I can't stand The Dark Knight Rises. I just can't.
Why?
First off, you can't understand a word that Bane says. He just sounds like your kind old British uncle whenever he talks. Second of all...
Kind?
Second of all, would you like some tea, Batman? That's what he sounds like, really. A crumpet, perhaps? But anyways... No, but let me I gotta get this off my chest, okay? I respect that you love this movie, but I just wanted to burn the theater down after, honestly, because okay, how does Bane take over this city? Because every single cop in Gotham decided to go into the sewers at the same time, not even leaving anybody to answer the telephones. As in, every single cop in Gotham is underground to be trapped on their own with no food or water for the 3 months that Bane takes over the city. But they're fine when they come out.
Loophole.
They're fine when they come out. Okay. And how long? Okay, fine. Batman gets his back broken. Cool. Fun stuff. How does he get it fixed? He gets it fixed by having some dude punch him in the back. That's how you fix a broken spine, by getting some dude to punch you in the back. And then for more therapy, you climb out of a 200-foot hole, but you have to fall a couple of times because that's how you learn how to get up. And then you climb some more. And then somehow you get back to Gotham after 2-3 months because you don't have your wallet with you. And instead of raising an army or whatever, the first thing you do is you paint a 20-foot high bat symbol with gasoline on a bridge that you have no way of crossing because your plane is on Gotham Island. I don't know how he got onto Gotham because Bane took out all the bridges. And you're telling me that Bane broke his back, took the time to bring him to the Middle Eastern desert, mocked him, went all the way back to Gotham to continue his plan of chaos. What were his people doing while he was gone taunting Batman? What were the cops doing in the sewers all together? They're like, hey guys, maybe it wasn't such a good idea we all came down here at the same time.
He's just nitpicking.
I'm not nitpicking. It's a stupid movie.
I liked it. At least I enjoyed the characters, actually. I never thought I'd be that invested in the villains of a superhero movie, but I think that Tom Hardy did a really good job of doing it because he still looks so intimidating. The expressions that he was able to bring out of his, even he admitted it was hard for him to talk, that they had to dub over that thing.
No, they didn't. That's why it sounds like shit. They let him, they used the audio as is because Chris Nolan thought it would be more real. They could have dubbed it over with some threatening thing, right?
It's probably the only one of the things that I like most about this. Parang as opposed to the other Batman movies, parang cool, he has gadgets, but they have no reason for them being able to work or how his equipment functions. This movie kind of explained everything.
Yeah, they did a good job of grounding it and explaining things. Yeah, that was cool. I love that. I really did.
This is like this. That's the one thing that I like in this trilogy. Parang nothing was so far out of reach. Like even the tumbler, like what it was built for, what it was meant to be. There was a reason for it. Parang why did Batman choose that? Because it looks cool. But there's actually a reason why he chose the tumbler to be his Batmobile. It's a cliff jumper. It's supposed to build bridges. It's functional. It's used for combat. That's pretty cool. So there's a reason for his tech also. Which adds to his character.
He's not just some random rich guy who can like afford any car. So you could like really see the depth beneath it. Because before this, everybody was just like, Batman's just a rich guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least for the movies, because of course they go in depth in comics. But for the movies, parang wala lang, superhero lang. But then this really gave depth to so many things.
In comic books, you can actually afford to take time to write these things on a monthly basis, and you have readers who follow it for years. It's a movie you literally have an hour and a half to 2 hours to explain everything, and Nolan was able to do it the right way.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's because Chris Nolan, he didn't really want to make a superhero movie. He just wanted to make a good movie, So he took that kind of grounding and that kind of real world logic and he applied it. And it came out great. It really did. I just don't like the third one.
Yep. I really like the third one because of Bane. I enjoyed Bane in this movie.
I'll get you a mask.
Well, a lot of people have masks now and it'll be easier to talk like him. So
that is true.
No, brother.
I would have to agree with the Lord of the Rings though. I'll give Anjo this challenge. Just pick one.
Lord of the Rings.
Okay, there you go.
I love Lord of the Rings. That's amazing.
Because after saying palang why I love Lord of the Rings. Okay. Yun palang eh. Helm's Deep.
Yeah,
Helm's Deep.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good stuff.
And it's also one of the trilogies that's really consistent because a lot of trilogies have ups and downs. So some good movies, some trilogies have really good first movies or maybe a meh second one and a better third one or it zigzags. But Lord of the Rings was consistently good. All three. My goodness. They were all good in their own way. Different part of the story, but each as an individual movie still really highly rated.
Yeah. And I also want to highlight parang Peter Jackson for his time liked strong women. Especially that scene, that Eowyn scene, I am no man. Remember that?
I am no man.
When she kills the Witch King and she goes I am no man. She takes off the helmet and she goes like, I am no man. Stabs him through his head.
Wait a minute.
That was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. I keep getting her. Wait, she's not Gone Girl, is she? Because I keep getting them mixed. I keep getting them mixed up. I keep getting them mixed up.
She's Aunt Zelda from the new Sabrina series.
Right. Thank you so much. Okay.
Miranda Otto, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Gone Girl is a Bond girl.
I can't remember her name though. No, I think. Wait, I think
Frost. Something Frost in
Miranda, but wasn't that one Miranda Otto?
Frost. Miranda Otto, no.
Okay, cool.
Miranda Frost was played by Rosamund Pike.
There you go. Right. Okay, cool.
Okay, so Misha, what's yours?
Huh? I don't know how to choose. What the hell, man?
Hirap, no? I know. I will guess. Is it the Back to the Future trilogy?
Yes, that is it. It's because like the thing is right. Like
nerd.
Bear with me, huh? Okay, the thing is, like, everyone expects me to choose Star Wars, but even I will admit that Return of the Jedi has severe story problems and dialogue problems.
Oh.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a bit.
But for Back to the Future, walang patapon eh. I mean, like, you could watch the whole thing, and even if they swear they didn't plan out 2 and 3 when they made 1, they hold together so well, it's impossible to think they didn't just shoot them all back to back to back. But apparently, like, they shot 1 and 2 so far apart that Michael J. Fox had forgotten how to skateboard, if you can imagine. So it just holds together so well. I mean, it's the story about...
He couldn't skateboard in the second movie because he had a hoverboard, man.
Oh, I see what you did there. But, like, they really, as narratives, they really, really hold up. And except for some spotty blue screen at some point, you know, you could put them up. You could put them on the big screen now. You could put them on the big screen now. And it all came from just that insight of the producer where he was like looking through his family stuff in the attic and he found his dad's yearbook from high school. And he looks through the pages. He sees his dad and he's like, my dad's such a dork. But I don't think I would have I don't think I would have gotten along with him if we went to school together. And then that was it. He just wrote a story out of that. And never mind that, you know, our hero's mom tries to sleep with him. And
I forgot about that.
But she didn't know. She didn't know. To be fair, it was good writing because she didn't know.
But even something like
it's just kind of gross.
Yeah, it is kind of gross. But even something like that was handled so well. If there is a proper way to handle your mother 30 years in the past trying to come on to you, I don't know. But, you know, even some things like just the continuity and the casting and the themes and the acting, even the music. I mean, this is one of those trilogies that really holds up, both thematically, narratively, and even as taken as a continuous viewing experience. It just feels like one long movie. And I mean that in the best possible way. Like Lord of the Rings.
Especially 2 and 3.
Especially 2 and because
especially 2 and 3.
Because they shot them as one movie. But still. But
this is Robert Zemeckis, right?
Yeah. Robert Zemeckis, right? And he's got it in his contract with the producer. Nobody can make a remake unless the two of them say yes, which means there's never going to be a remake, which I think is for the best. They did a reunion recently with the main cast and with the producer and the director on Josh Gad's web show. And it was fun. They're all just happy to talk about it and see each other. And they all genuinely seem to have had a good time making this series, making these movies. They just look so happy.
I think it's a good call that they don't. I mean, like, it's a tall order just to be able to remake the entire series. There's just so much. I don't know. It's just so iconic. Everything, the characters are so iconic. How they were written, how they were portrayed was really good. I mean, I don't think anybody can match the portrayal. And for its time back then, the vision alone and for that story, for that movie was just unparalleled.
But you know what's funny is, like, even kids now watching it, they love this movie. They don't care that it's outdated or anything like that. They get what the story is about. And if you really want to get technical, about it, I mean, if you went back the same number of years that Marty went back from 85 to 55, a remake would have to be set in 1990 at this point, 30 years ago.
Oh my God. We're old.
Yeah, I know, right? What the hell?
I just turned 22, guys.
You did no such thing. Does your wife know this?
Of course she does.
I'm going to wait for the
buttoning.
I'm going to wait for the inevitable backlash.
Oh God.
You fool. Pero, like, I mean, when you asked to come up with like a favorite trilogy or whatever, like what really stands up, that's the one I have to give, because that's the one that from start to finish, well, you can't, there's nothing to complain about.
Like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, like Lord of the Rings.
And Anjo already took that one.
I know. When Anjo called dibs on Lord of the Rings, I was like, damn it.
You do... Lord of the Rings is so good kasi. There's so much you can talk.
It really was.
Yes,
I have friends who rewatch it every week.
You're serious?
Oh, wow.
Like I can't even do that, but I have a friend who just watches like 2 towers every week.
I got a friend who cannot deal with sci-fi, fantasy, superhero, all that stuff because he has no suspension of disbelief whatsoever. But he knows Lord of the Rings by heart. It's because he loves those fucking movies.
No, because it's so good. Like, especially when they form the fellowship and the relationship, how they evolve the relationship together. It was so good.
When Bilbo makes that face.
Oh, God. Still scares me every time.
When Galadriel
like, you know it's coming.
When Galadriel makes that face.
You know it's coming, but then Bilbo, when it happens, it's still like, ah!
Like, Bilbo didn't scare me so much. Bilbo didn't scare me so much, pero Galadriel was like, fuck.
Yeah, that was messed up.
Happened? It's like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And can we just talk about Elrond for 2 seconds? Like, he's the only ugly elf.
My God, you're so mean.
It's true.
What? He's not ugly. How dare?
Look, everybody else is immortally young, beautiful, in the peak of physical condition. Any one of them could be models.
I love Hugo Weaving.
Except for Elrond.
He's not ugly naman.
I can't say the same for the Hobbit movies, though.
Dude,
when you go to the Hobbit movies, you see
Elrond to shame.
Which is funny though.
No, like Legolas's dad, he could make shampoo commercials. That's how pretty he was.
Lee Pace.
Right? Everything he did was beautiful.
Lord of the Rings is the reason why whenever I play D&D, my usual character is an elven archer. No, because I mean, like the action sequences of an elf and a bow and arrow. I mean, before this, parang bow and arrow, useless weapon. When you watch the action sequences of Legolas,
you can buy it. You can buy it.
So freaking badass how he did it.
Absolutely.
Until I saw that really bad Robin Hood movie.
I'm sure you didn't mean Robin Hood Men in Tights because that was awesome.
That is awesome.
This was the Robin Hood movie with Jamie Foxx in it. There you go.
The one that was trying to be the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
He was basically.
You have to admit the action sequences are so good though.
Yeah, but then his friend became Two-Face.
I don't remember.
It was really bad.
Watched it for the action
was
sequence.
Really bad.
I really just watched it for the action sequences.
It's all good.
Ganda eh.
But when you were mentioning Legolas, are you in love with Legolas? Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, my favorite character is Gandalf. So
Gandalf actually would go for you.
Oh God.
What?
No, I mean Sir Ian McKellen.
So Magneto can.
Oh, kinilig ka naman. You would accept
Sir Ian McKellen. So
you cannot say yes to Magneto but no to Gandalf.
I wouldn't say no to Gandalf. He's magical.
Tanong, gray or white?
White.
Racist.
No.
Wow.
No. Because he'll be at his peak as Gandalf the White and not as Gandalf the Gray.
Oh, that's another amazing thing about this trilogy. How he never manages to get super. Well, he did maybe just a little dirty, but like he's still immaculate. Gandalf the White still like apparently glowing.
Damn
I
right.
think the dirtiest I've seen him was just when his hair was all over his face while fighting.
I know, right?
This was so cool. Like this wizard's so cool. He has a freaking magical staff and a sword, and he rides into battle with it. Gandalf's awesome.
Are we all going to have to change our vote to Lord of the Rings by the time this episode is done?
I think this became a Lord of the Rings tribute.
In a way. I think we all agree on that.
Wait, that one sequence I have to talk about. Yeah,
yes, also online. Yeah. Also Josh Gad's show.
Mm-hmm. Josh Gad, by the way, can pass for a hobbit.
You're so mean to Olaf.
True.
No, look at it. He looks like a hobbit.
That's true.
He kind of looks like a hobbit.
In.
I mean, like Josh Gad is great. I mean, I love Josh Gad. Did so well as Olaf
and LeFou.
He could probably pass off as like one of the Gamgees or something.
Yes,
like Sam's cousin.
He'd be like that cousin that Sam doesn't like.
I actually think that he can be a tuk.
Full of a tuk.
But you know what's funny? Like when you're watching, I mean, the thing about Legolas, since you love him so much, because he was in The Hobbit, he's got that same reverse aging disease as Breaking Call Saul, where everybody in the past looks older.
Yeah. Did you notice they changed his eye colors for this movie?
You're serious?
Let's put on some contacts and Watch the Lord of the Rings. He had brown eyes in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Watch the Hobbit trilogy. He has blue eyes.
What
the fuck? Something is so weird. Aside from him looking more gaunt than he did, because he's older.
No, I thought he looked plumper.
Did? Parang his face looked so gaunt. Parang his cheeks were like, I don't know. Like,
he was like more filled
But
out.
I
He was
think
so skinny in the old ones.
It's just so sad how we can go from the Lord of the Rings being one of the best trilogies ever, and then you see the Hobbit, the prequels, and they're one of. Would you say the worst? Because we really hate the Hobbit trilogy.
Coming from somebody who's read the books, it was so bad.
Not the worst, but one of the worst. Because
one of the worst.
What the hell?
You have this beautiful book. And it's perfect as just one movie. It would have been so tight, so good. Title of your sex tape. But they had to stretch it out. Sorry. But they had to stretch it out to 3 movies, which was so unnecessary. And they dragged it on so many additional details and so many new characters you don't give a fuck about.
Yep.
It's like, how did this suddenly... A love story pops in out of the blue. It's like, what the hell?
She probably wanted to force that love story.
She didn't even exist in the books.
I had to read
Legolas in. You put Legolas into that trilogy and make him an asshole. How dare you?
He was privileged.
It's a travesty.
He was younger and privileged at that time.
No, you do not paint him as a villain like that.
So it's just like Zachary Levi mode again.
No, actually, not really. It's not really. But I don't know. It's just I don't see the connection of like the character development of Legolas from, let's say, the Hobbit movies. How did he become the Legolas in Lord of the Rings? Parang
may disconnect talaga.
It's like it could have been a different character.
No, because
they didn't see the growth in the end.
They just put him in just for the sake of having somebody we recognized.
Yeah, but even the action sequences weren't that great. Parang that one part where he was running on falling rocks. Like, I know elves are light-footed, pero come on.
I have a confession. I've never seen the third one.
Okay lang. I saw the third one. I saw the third one in the plane.
Right.
I didn't even bother to watch. I watched the first one in the cinemas. I forgot where I watched the second one. Or maybe I did watch it in the cinemas, gave it a chance, but I didn't give it a chance for the third one. But I watched it in the plane in this teeny tiny screen in front of you, like in the back of the seat of the person in front of me. But it's like, oh, it's fine. I didn't miss much. It's like, okay. I watched it in the plane and I didn't want to watch it in a bigger screen because I was okay. It's like, okay, I just watched this for closure just to see how it goes. But I had no desire to actually see it in its full glory. Because
you didn't want to be judged for watching it.
Not di naman. I could have been...
Baka tulog yung mga katabi mo.
I could have gone all martyr and been like, oh, I'll see it in the cinemas for closure.
But no.
It's like, oh, it's fine.
But I saw the last 2 at home.
After the first one, I'm
sad.
But here's the thing, like,
parang I didn't think I needed to spend money on it anymore.
And it could really just have been one good movie. Really.
Also, the most entertaining thing I've seen from those movies is actually watching the behind-the-scenes footage of Benedict Cumberbatch act as Smaug. Probably the most entertaining thing I've seen out of all those movies. Not even the whole movie. It's just really the behind-the-scenes footage of him portraying Smaug. That was probably
were you watching it? Were you watching it for, directorial or acting reference or for a marital aid?
No,
no judgment. He's also considered to be an attractive man.
I just wanted to see how he was able to portray him, because it's motion capture, which Peter Jackson also utilized really well in the first trilogy.
Right.
It was good to kind of see it again for The Hobbit. It was just different because the scale of Smaug is so different from the lead characters, the protagonists in the movie compared. Because prior to the previous one, parang it's really just Gollum. Here, he had to work with several things, with Smaug being one, then the dwarves, and then the hobbits. So I guess it was also for technical references, just to see how he does it, how he did it. If I needed to use it for one of my corporate shoots.
Right. If ever they need a dragon, you're set.
Yeah. If my budget yung client. Pero wala.
So like the first Hobbit, the first Hobbit, I kind of liked it as an opening, and I was genuinely interested to see where it would go. And the second one was just stupid fun. And I think that's why I didn't watch the third one, because I was laughing because it was so stupid. Like when they were with the barrels on the river and Legolas was bouncing up and down like a cartoon character.
Oh, that barrel in the river part was fun.
It was like stupid fun where you could imagine everybody
fun.
just smiling while shooting this because they know it's so amazingly ridiculous. But for me, that's never what Lord of the Rings was. It was never ridiculous. So it was just, dude, there was just a disconnect. And then I heard that Smaug dies like 5 minutes into the third one. So I was like, okay, then I have no reason to watch the third one.
Desolation of Smaug, sure.
But
then he got desolated in 5 minutes. Oh!
Okay, tapos na. Thank you, roll credits.
But I got a surprise for you. There are also extended versions of these 3 Hobbit movies.
Why? As if you had to extend it even more. It was already extended in the first place.
Just to paint a picture of how bad these movies were made, Ian McKellen have a breakdown on set while filming this.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't hear about this.
Oh, yeah. That was
chismis.
Sobrang kawawa siya because like he couldn't deal with the amount of like green screen and shit. Because
somebody who's classically trained.
Yeah.
For somebody who's classically trained, who loves working, who feeds off of other people working with him, that's just siguro nakakasira ulo. It's also probably why Robert Downey Jr. doesn't like filming those helmet sequences for Iron Man.
You know how like in the original Lord of the Rings, they built everything, right? And sometimes they'd build half a set here. They'd build half a set 6 feet away so that the people on the 6 feet away shot look smaller than the guy in the foreground, right? Because the camera has no depth perception. A 2D camera, camera.
They scaled sets, right?
But for this new one, for The Hobbit, because they were in such a hurry, and because the 3D camera would pick up that trick, they had no choice but to go green screen. So Ian McKellen was talking to himself a lot of the time, and he just broke him. Like they had to build him. They had to build him a tent with a record player and some nice alcohol, some magazines, just so he could relax on set as an apology.
I would do that for Ian McKellen.
You would do.
I would do anything
we've
for
established
Ian
you
McKellen.
would do many things
I
for
love
him.
Ian McKellen. I love Ian McKellen. No, but the reason why I love Ian McKellen was because primarily of Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
He's awesome. He's amazing.
Then I actually started researching what his body of work was, what films he's done. That's when I started watching his older movies.
And he's one of the few good things about that whole first X-Men trilogy. Him and Patrick Stewart. But everything else is like
bickering like an old married couple.
From one bad trilogy to another X-Men. Sorry.
I have a question. Okay. Where would you put the Matrix trilogy? Would you file it under good
garbage, or
would you file it under bad?
I would put it in the garbage.
I would file it under watch the first movie and forget the next 2 ever happened.
There's no trilogy.
I would go with MJ.
I also would go with MJ. There's only one Matrix.
I would go with MJ.
It's also kind of like Mean Girls 2. It never happened.
There's a Mean Girls 2?
Yes, there is.
It's direct-to-video. It doesn't count.
Well, yeah, it was, yeah. Thank God there wasn't a third one anymore, but... Okay, something we've talked about earlier and the question we want to raise is does it count as a trilogy? Because the trend now is that you have these franchises, but then usually the last movie they would split into 2. We have the Hunger Games trilogy, which was like 4 movies, but then it was a trilogy as books, but they split the last one into 2. So does that count? Kind of no, right?
No, I don't know.
No.
If we're talking about books, yes, but
I don't know.
But it's a trend now. Like even Twilight did that
because you get to make more money by putting 2 movies out.
Because Harry Potter did it.
Yeah, or the last one.
You can defend Harry Potter because there was just so much happening in the 7th book that they actually had to do that.
Yeah, but it suddenly just became a trend just for the heck of it, for more money, probably.
Yeah, probably. For I don't know, Hunger Games, I've never read the book. Twilight, tried reading the first book, gave up after the first chapter. It's like,
Same.
I
I
can't believe I spent money on this.
Wait, you bought it?
Because my friend said it's a good book. I was like, okay, without knowing what it was, but okay, sige, I'll buy it. Because my friend, I trust my friend's book selection. I didn't know that she was actually prone to these kinds of books then.
Well, you know now.
Okay, I'm a fan of Chuck Palahniuk, the guy who wrote Fight Club.
He did not write Twilight. He did not write Twilight.
So this is me not doing my due diligence on book recommendations. So I did not know that my friend was susceptible to those kinds of stories as well. That's why I bought the book and tried it out. Like, the first chapter, spent $700 on this thing.
Oh my God, I forgot how expensive it was.
For a college student, $750 was like, that's a lot of food. That's a lot of money for a college student. And then to only read the first chapter, it's like, tapon, what the heck? Ang ina, anong klaseng libro to?
I think I got 8 pages in and I gave up. I just gave up. I couldn't.
I gave up too. I just, thank God I just borrowed it because it's like, but I was able to stomach the first movie, but I didn't watch
which the fans hated.
I offended many children by laughing my way through the first movie.
The director of the first movie, she's an indie filmmaker. I think she directed Lords of Dogtown, which was a really good.
Yeah, that was good.
Movie.
That was good. That's
a really good movie. I don't think her style really translated for that kind of movie.
Did she only?
Or it's just the kind of material you can't save even if you put it into another format, which is a movie. So it's just sparkling vampires. What the fuck?
Have you ever seen it?
Work was undone by Stephanie Meyer.
Have you ever seen Twilight on local TV?
Are you talking about the dub version?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Local network.
Oh yes.
Wait. No. You have to tell us about this.
I got it. Okay. Picture this, right? So ibig sabihin, isa kang, sabihin mo. Isa kang. Sabihin mo. Isa kang. Vampira. It's so bad.
Wait.
It was so bad.
What is werewolf in Tagalog?
I don't remember. It was probably werewolf. It was probably werewolf.
Taong lobo ba?
I don't fucking know. I don't remember. It was so bad.
I don't know. Oh, taong aso ka ba?
I don't know. I had the same feeling as when the Ninja Turtles, tara na mga dudes, diretso na tayo sa Imbornal. Wait, that's not how that goes. I'm like, why do I watch Hero Channel? Never again.
Imbornal.
I think it's just,
oh my God.
It's a language thing. Some things are just not
meant to be translated. Okay, so talking about trilogies again. Bill and Ted just released their third movie.
Oh yeah, it's the trailer
of their third movie.
Okay. Yeah, what did you think?
I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that, honestly, because I liked the first two. I enjoyed the first two.
Dude, the second one is a work of art. It really is. Bogus Journey.
Yep.
But
oh my God.
I don't know. I like seeing them, but the trailer, they just look old.
They are.
They are old. They acknowledge it.
Like old and it's like they're pushing it, but just for the sake of it.
No, but it's interesting to see how it goes. For me, like, how many years has it been since the second movie?
25, 30, I don't know.
3 decades, maybe. And then just to see how their characters are after so much time, why they've lost their fame is also interesting.
Yeah, but why are they still talking like teenage morons?
Exactly, like how their character grows. I'm doing air quotes now.
Or doesn't.
Or don't grow. But I have a feeling it's just mostly for fan service lang talaga because there's been such a huge demand for a third movie for this.
But so, Keanu was doing so well.
Because, John Wick.
I think Keanu can do no wrong at this point anymore.
So we have to give this thing a chance.
Like, people just love him so much right now. And I guess they're milking the whole Keanu thing right now because he's one of Hollywood's most likable people these days after John Wick, after Always Be My Maybe even.
I think the most maybe the thing that I would say he did wrong probably was 47 Ronin. Oh wait, was it 47 Ronin?
Yeah, that was kind of bad. That was kind of bad.
But I could forgive him for that.
Because of John Wick?
No, because of John Wick and it's Keanu Reeves.
Oh, that's another good trilogy, though.
What you're in love with?
It won't be a trilogy soon, though.
Just don't make the mistake.
At this point, it is a trilogy.
Don't make the mistake that my girlfriend and I did, where you watch 1 and 2 in the same day, and then you watch part 3 the next day. You will be exhausted.
Oh yeah,
and you'd be like, "No more killing, please. Do something else."
Not as exhausted as watching Twilight because your wife wants to watch that series.
Oh.
Somebody's gonna get yelled at.
She's.
Oh man.
Yeah, she's. She's staring at me now.
You're in so much trouble. It
was nice knowing you, Anjo.
It was.
The books are much better than the movie.
She says the books are better than the movie, but the books weren't even great to begin with.
Wow, you're just digging yourself.
Shut up.
You're digging yourself into a deeper hole, man.
I will be writing my last will and testament right now.
And
so for episode 4, it'll just be me and Misha.
Yes,
and with that, I guess say goodbye to Anjo, everybody.
Okay. Bye, Anjo.
I don't know. I will say what I want about that franchise. I will say what I want.
But you're not going to name the franchise while she can hear you.
Twilight.
So I guess that's it for Anjo. Say goodbye. Say your goodbyes. This is his finale episode.
This is going to be my last recording, guys.
He only got a trilogy.
And that's it for Sub-Auteurs episode 3, which I guess turned into a Lord of the Rings tribute of some sort. But hope you liked this episode.
Let us know in the comments what some of your favorite trilogies are, and maybe we could talk about it in an upcoming episode. In the meantime, you've been listening to Sub-Auteurs. I'm Misha.
I'm Anjo.
And that's the last you'll hear from him. And I'm MJ.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
I'll say something nice about you.
My final goodbye. My final goodbye.
You stupid man.
To be able to record it in the presence of my wife.
We should have her on the show at some point.
We could.
Sub-Auteurs is a movie review podcast by a DJ, writer, and a filmmaker. Sub-Auteurs is produced, recorded, and distributed by Big Baby Studios.